What's up, America? In today's episode, I'm going to be going over some good items to have for bartering. So obviously bartering, especially in terms of like a monetary or financial collapse situation, is going to be very important and come back as kind of a primary method of exchange, especially if we don't have access to our funds or electronically, or your paper money, your fiat currency becomes worthless. And so now we're going to talk about items that you should have that are going to be good for bartering. And then I'm going to talk about items that I would only barter with, if I had to, or if I needed something important that I don't have for whatever reason. And then I'm going to talk about briefly some items that you would never want to barter with. So first, starting with items that you want to barter with, first I have, kind of these dollar store style of, cleaning products, whether it's for laundry, whether it's for dishwasher, whether it's hand soap. This is just some general all-purpose cleaner for like washing floors and surfaces and things like that. Obviously, besides having a relatively cheap price point from the dollar store, you can get some of these name brands that people will recognize and understand that, yeah, they might know it's a dollar store, but they're not getting the cheap brand. Like this is Tide. People know Tide for brand recognition, right? And you're also doing this. You're not doing this for you to use when you buy these. I usually buy these because I know that I might trade this with someone because they might have something, or they might not be as prepared as me and be more desperate and willing to, only get 6 loads out of this, while I can get something more useful in return, and then I keep my good, bigger stuff that's more cheaper per ounce, if you will. So this is why I like buying these things from the Dollar Tree, not just for me to use, but for me to barter and potentially use with other people. Kind of on that same note is batteries. So you've all seen my video on this DocSafe battery thing. So in here I'm almost complete for my batteries. These are my barter batteries. I don't keep my good ones in this one. So if I'm bartering, or if I'm giving someone a battery, they're not going to get my Duracells. They're not going to get my nice Energizer, my rechargeable lithiums and things like that. They're going to get the Dollar Tree, Dollar General style 9-volt or AA, AAA. So that's why I have these. It's not necessarily for me to use, or if someone they're on their optic, their red dot goes out, I give them one of these cheaper 2032s, and then I keep the nice Energizer Duracell ones for myself. So that's kind of what I use these for. These are all my barter batteries, or if I'm out of my good ones, worst case scenario happens, I still have these to fall back on. But I'm using this type of stuff first, as opposed to my good stuff. Next I have probably one of the more ultimate barter items that I have, and it's precious metals, in this case silver. So here I just have, this is some 6 90% Kennedy's 1964. You can't really see it up close, but you can kind of hear it. Doesn't sound like your typical clad coin, but this is silver, right? So in this scenario, people historically, going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, have always loved fancy shiny objects. And so not only are these as a hedge against inflation, kind of an insurance policy just in case the dollar collapses, but people have bartered with silver and precious metals for centuries. So that's why I have some precious metals. It's not the end-all be-all of what I have. And if you're, prepping, you're probably going to start with more of this stuff first: food, water, supplies, things like that, and then slowly get these over time. But obviously silver and precious metals, this could probably get you a lot, and especially people are going to quickly know that even though they don't make this anymore, that people are going to know what silver is, and you're going to be able to barter and get a lot of items that you don't have with precious metals. Alright, the next item here we have, going into more of the controversial, and I wouldn't do it right away in terms of bartering, and that is ammunition. A lot of people say in a grid down SHTF scenario that ammo will become a currency, which I tend to agree with. Obviously, your big ones are going to be like 9mm, 5.56, 22 long rifle will probably be the the standard. But all this has an almost intrinsic value in of itself. It has its own market forces in terms of supply and demand, even in a normal scenario. Depending on current events and things like that. So ammo wouldn't be one that I would give up right away, but if someone says I'll trade you that box of 9mm for maybe a Sawyer Mini water filter, yeah, I'm going to give you this box of 9mm for that water filter. So you never know how desperate people are. So even though that's a bad example of a trade, but you could have someone really desperate, and then ammo could be used, as a tool to get what you need. So controversial one would be ammo. I'd only do it if I had to. Another controversial one is definitely some sort of food-related item. Obviously, food in our rule of threes, 3 weeks without food. A lot of people will do stuff to feed their starving children. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure you have your food stored up, really well. But to people who don't have that same preparedness mindset as you do, you might be able to take advantage and get something you don't need by trading food. This wouldn't be my go-to. I'd go to my other items that I'd more regularly have to barter with over some sort of food item. But along those same lines, you can the ammo or any other tool for that matter that you could do without, but you definitely want to have a lot of it because you already have enough stocked up. I would be hesitant to do it, but if you really needed something, food, it would be a good item to barter with as well. Alright, lastly we're going to cover two things that I absolutely would not barter in terms of barter items. And the first is anything to do with water. So and here's my module for my Sawyer, my Life Straw, and a few other iodide tablets. 3 days without water with our rule of threes, I would not give anything. I would not give this water up. I would give up more. I would give up half my ammo before I gave up water. So definitely water, something you want to keep and not trade or barter with. And then also 3 hours in harsh conditions, I would be hesitant to trade any kind of lighter or anything like that. If I do, it'll be the cheap Dollar Tree lighters, but I'm not really trading any of my fire starters or any of my nicer Bic lighters or things like that. So, obviously keeping warm, 3 hours harsh conditions, three days without water. These two items are something I'm definitely not going to barter. Another item that's definitely a no-go for bartering is medical. Obviously, if you have a medical condition, you can't really mess around with that. But I will keep medical and perform medical on people, but I will not use it as a bartering tool, and pretty much unless I have no other option. So, along with water, 3 hours harsh conditions, and medical is something I'm definitely not going to be parting ways with either. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this got you thinking about what items you have or what items you could use to barter with, or what items you should purchase to barter with, and not give up your good stuff in order to make a bad trade. Another thing I didn't really cover in this video that you could barter with is your own manual labor and your own skills that you have. You might have some sort of skill that you can trade for one of these items, not necessarily the Dollar Tree items, but you can trade your skills for something that you could you could obtain as well. So didn't really cover a lot of that because I'm looking at like tangible items. But if you're in a trade, if you're a carpenter, you could be able to do some work for someone in exchange for food, in exchange for precious metal, in exchange for good batteries. So think of that too, in terms of getting skills, not necessarily that are for you to help yourself, but you to help other people in exchange for something in return. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Real American Outdoors, and Turning X to the American Fishing Challenge, and videos on YouTube every Tuesday and Saturday. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.